Hello guys and welcome back to this new lecture. In this lecture we will be working on our parking trigger script, okay? But before that, make sure that you select this JMO assets folder and drag and drop it inside the game assets folder. Then after this, go ahead and download this UI package and the sprites package. Double click on it to open it up in your Unity project. Click on import. Once it is imported, go ahead and import the second package now, which is the sprites. Click on import as well. And as you can see right here, these are the sprites which we will be needing for our UI. And then this is also a UI pack from which we're gonna create our main menu, okay? So make sure that you have these two packages, okay? Then let's first of all create a mission pass UI, okay? Whenever we park our car, we want to show to the player that now the mission is passed and the player can move to the next mission. So right here, create a UI, then canvas. Let's name this canvas as mission info. Okay, change this canvas UI scale mode from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. Then I'm gonna set this to 920 and then Y will be 1080. Okay, if you change into 2D mode and double click on this mission info, here it is. Now in here we're gonna create a UI image. Right, let's name this image as mission passed. Okay, and the source image will be none, and we're gonna color this image as black and then select this rect transform of it and hold down the alt button and then stretch this image on all the sides like this. Okay, as you can see, it is stretched now on all sides. Okay, once you do that, then in this we're gonna add a text. So I'm gonna click on UI and then legacy and then text. Okay, this will be the mission passed text. Okay, and in here just simply type mission passed. Okay, for the font we will select a font, but first of all let's resize it. So if you zoom in on this text, all right, then change its color to white and we can change the font size to 60. Then we can change the width and height of this as well. So make width 500 and the height should be 70. Okay, we can't see the mission past the past text, so we can increase the width like that. Okay, and make sure the text is in the center and then select the second option in the alignment. Okay, so here it is, mission passed. Select the first font style and it is now, as you can see, moved again. So what I'm gonna do is to try increasing the height of it to 100, and now as you can see it shows the text mission passed in a perfect size and position. Okay, so once we show the mission passed text, we have to show a button as well for moving to the next mission. Okay, so for that what I'm gonna do is right here click on UI and then create a button. Right, let's just ignore that. Let's delete the button and let me clear that out. Okay, so in here UI and then go to legacy and then create a button. Okay, make sure it is a legacy button, move it down, for example right here. Alright, from this button we're gonna remove the text and then if you click on sprites you're gonna drag and drop this screen right arrow, as you can see by its name. So you can drag and drop it if you can't find it in the source image, and click on set native size. We're gonna make it really big like this, but we don't want it to be that big, so I'm gonna make the width 100 and the height 100 as well. Okay, so let's rename this button to next button. And now whenever the player passes the mission, we're gonna show this UI like this. Okay, we're gonna activate this UI whenever the mission pass, and then when the player click on the next button, it's gonna move to the next mission and this UI will be deactivated. Alright, so now let me deactivate it once again. Since it is completed, and click on mission 1, click on parking trigger. Right here, open up this parking trigger script, and then we're going to remove the start and update method, and at the top add this package which is Unity engine.ui, and then right here let's make a public game object, name this as mission pass text. Alright, then we will create a reference to our next button. We will say button and then name it as next mission button. Alright, then we need a reference to our car controller script, so we will say public car controller, make this an array, because as you know that we will be having more than one cars in our game, so that's why we need to make this an array. Then after this we will create a bool to check if it's a reverse mission or a straight mission. So we're gonna name this as is reverse mission, and by default it will be false. Okay, then create a bool by the name of mission completed. It will be equals to false. Then add a start method in which we gonna hide the mission passed UI, so we will say mission pass text dot set active and set it to false. Then the next mission button dot game object dot set active, and we're gonna disable the next mission button. After this we're gonna check that if the car front hits the parking trigger, and if it's a straight mission then we're gonna pass the mission, and if it is a reverse mission then we will check if the car back area touches the parking trigger. Okay, so for that we're gonna create a method which is by the name of on trigger enter. This will take collider as a parameter, and then we're gonna check first of all if the mission is completed, then we just simply gonna return. We don't have to check. And if it's not, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna check first of all if it's a reverse mission. Okay, and if it's a reverse mission, then we will complete that mission only if the reverse, or you can say the back area of the car touches this parking trigger. So in order to do that we will say if other dot compare tag, and if that tag is the reverse, then we will complete the mission. Alright, we will make this complete mission method soon, but first let's just complete this now. In the else block, if it's not a reverse mission, right here as you can see, we check if it's a reverse mission, then we check that if the reverse area of the car touches it, then we will complete the mission. Now if it's not a reverse mission, in that case we want the front area of the car to pass the mission. So in order to do that, we will just simply say if other dot compare tag, and if that tag is by the name of player, then what we're gonna do, we will say complete mission. Let me just copy this from here and paste it right down below. Okay, now let's scroll down and create the other method, which is by the name of complete mission. So we will say void complete mission. In here what we're gonna do is we're gonna first of all set the mission completed to true, and then we're gonna show the mission passed UI. So we will call a method right here by the name of show mission passed. Okay, we will create this method, don't worry. And then when we call this method in which we show the UI, so now let's go ahead and create this method as well, show mission passed. In here what we're gonna do is we're gonna show the mission passed UI. So we will say mission pass text dot set active, and let's set this to true. Then after this we want to show the next mission button. So next mission button dot game object dot set active and set it to true. Okay, after doing this we want the movement for all the cars to be disabled, because when we pass the mission we don't want the player to move the car. Okay, so in order to disable the movement of the car, as you know that the car controller script is an array, so we have to go through this array and select all of the cars from it. So we will create a variable by the name of car, and then we will say in car controllers. Alright, then if we find the cars, okay, so if this is not equals to null, then in this case what we're gonna do is we will set the car dot max acceleration to 0, and once the car can't move, then after that, as you know that we show the UI and we show the next mission button, so for that we have to unlock the cursor in order to click this button. So for unlocking the cursor, what we're gonna do, right after this for each loop, we will say cursor dot lock state equals to cursor lock mode dot none, and then cursor dot visible will be equals to true. And now the final thing is for making the next button work. Whenever we press it, we want the player to move to the next mission. Okay, for now we don't have any logic for keeping count of how many missions the player completed. Okay, so what we're gonna do for now is we're just gonna create a method, okay, by the name of next mission, and in this we will just show a message in the console that next mission played. That is it, and we want to call this method whenever we press the next button. So for that we will say next mission button dot on click dot add listener, and we will pass the next mission method right here. That is it. Okay, right here, make this O capital. I forgot to do that. And then save the script and get back to Unity. Now, if you click on this parking trigger, as you can see, we need to provide these things. So let's first of all start from the mission past UI. Okay, so as you know that inside the mission info we have this mission past, so we're gonna drag and drop this. Let me lock this parking trigger, and to this I'm gonna drag and drop the mission past, then the next mission button. So drag and drop the next mission button, and we need to provide the car controllers. So if you open up the player cars, then the classic cars, and on the classic car right here we have the script, so I'm gonna just drag and drop that, and it will automatically select the car controller script. Now let me click on this parking trigger again, and the first mission will be to park the car straight. Okay, so we don't have to check this is reverse mission pool. Okay, we just have to leave this empty. And now if I show you the car, okay, actually this car collider right here, as you can see, this is not tagged as player, so make sure that you select it and tag it as player. So now if this whole area touches that parking trigger and the mission is to park the car straight, then it will pass the mission. Okay, and for the reverse, as you know that we have this collider right here and it is tagged as player, but we have to tag this as reverse. Okay, so when it touches the parking trigger and if the mission is reverse, for example our mission 2 will be to park the car in reverse, so then when we park it in reverse and this collider hits the parking trigger of the second mission, then it will pass the mission. Okay, but you just have to, oops, sorry, we didn't unlock this parking trigger game object. If you notice right here, it is locked. Okay, so just make sure you untag it, and that's it. Okay, you just have to now unlock it. Okay, we forgot to do that. Now if you select this collider, as you can see, it is already set to reverse. But if it didn't, then make sure that you set this collider, which is this collider 006, make sure that it is tagged as reverse, and this first collider is tagged as player. Okay, and make sure that it is not trigger. And for the parking trigger, make sure it is untagged, and right here the is trigger is set to true. Okay, and this script is attached. Now once you do all of that, then you can just go ahead and play the game. So when the game starts, now if we touches this barracks, as you can see, for now we can't detect that and it can't fail the mission because we don't have a script for that. But now if we go ahead and park the car straight in here, it will pass the mission. As you can see, mission passed, and if you click the next mission button in the console, it shows next mission played. Okay, so it means all of this is working. Alright, and now we need to add this parking trigger script to all of our parking triggers. So I'm just gonna copy the component. Okay, close the mission 1, open up mission 2. Let's change to scene view and then double click on mission 2. Here it is. Select this parking trigger and we're gonna paste component as new, move it at the top. Alright, and as I told you, this second mission will be a reverse mission, so we're gonna take that, and that's it. Then open up mission 3. Okay, double click on it. Here it is. Select its parking trigger and paste the parking trigger script to it. This will be a straight mission, so we just gonna leave this as false. Okay, then we have mission 4. Select its parking trigger and simply paste the script, and this will be a reverse mission, so I'm gonna take this as reverse mission. Then this fifth one will also be a reverse mission, so I'm gonna select its parking trigger and paste the script and set this as reverse to true. The sixth mission will be to park the car straight. Alright, so I'm gonna paste the component as new and leave this as false. Then we have the seventh mission. In this, we also park the car straight. So paste component as new and just leave this as it is. Then we have mission 8, in which we park the car in reverse. So open it up, select the parking trigger and paste component as new and set this as reverse mission to true. Let me check out this plane. Okay, just simply delete this plane from this mission because we don't need that. Alright, so all of the missions are now set up. Okay, and as I told you, for now we don't keep track of which mission is passed and which is not. So for now, if we go ahead and test out our second mission, which is the reverse mission, okay, first of all, let's try to park the car straight, and you will notice it will not pass the mission. Okay, as you can see. Now if we park it in reverse, let me move in reverse now. Okay, now as you can see, it shows mission passed and the next mission button work as well. Alright, let's select the mission 2 again and select its parking trigger. First of all, select its light and then the parking trigger and move the parking trigger right there. That's it. Okay, so now we are able to pass the missions. In the next video, we're gonna keep track of which mission to play. For example, if the player starts the game, a new game, then all the other missions will be deactivated and only the first mission will be activated. And then, for example, if the player passes the first mission, we're gonna then disable the first mission and activate the second mission, and we will spawn the car right here in the second mission area. Okay, we're gonna keep track of which mission to play and which mission is passed. But before doing that, I think it is required first of all is to pass to fail the mission. For example, if the player touches this barrier right here, or if the player touches the cones in the other missions. Okay, for example, if in this mission 8 the player touches this cone, then what we want to do is we want to fail the mission. Okay, and then when we fail the mission, after that we're gonna add the other functionalities is to keep track of the missions and which mission is passed. Okay, so see you guys in the next lecture.